Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. We're back. We're doing a best of 3 Strixhaven draft. Rare, Blade Historian. I've played it many times. I've played against it. Very strong rare. I'm comfortable first picking that. A lot of good picks in here though. Divine Gambit, more playable in this format than the previous format it was first printed in. Closing Statement, good. I like the Arch. Guiding Voice is playable, Aerialist is playable, Colony, Masterpiece, Infuse, all of these are playable, Spirit Summoning playable, Lesson, Campus Guide. Almost every single card in here is playable, but we're going to go with the rare because it's a good card. Comes down, if you have a few creatures, not much they can do about it. And double strike on all your attackers is usually pretty lethal. Alright, follow-up pick. Well, we've got some good ones in here. The pick that most goes with our first pick, I would say, is probably Elemental Summoning. Since Gruul and Selesnya are not supported archetypes, though Devouring Tendrils is probably by far the strongest card in here. Could take the Study Break. That keeps us open. That keeps us more open to Lorehold. Elemental Summoning does too, without taking up a slot in the deck. But I would say Blade Historian probably fits best in some sort of aggro deck, and Study Break, being able to lock out 2 creatures. Typically, I think the Lessons are better than the Learn, because Learn take up slot in your deck, whereas Lesson does not, unless you need it to. Which is a decent argument to take the Summoning, but I'm going to take the Study Break because I feel like it fits better for an aggro Lorehold plan. Well, Pigment Storm, playable card at its absolute best in an aggro deck as well, because oftentimes you can just peg down a 1 mana or a 1 toughness creature and deal 4 damage to your opponent. Hopefully attack. A lot of good cards in here for Prismari. Iteration is good. Practical Research is good. I like the Iteration more than the Practical Research, but they're both good card advantage cards. Opt is certainly playable in Prismari as well. Invocation is good. Beaming Defiance is totally playable here. Campus Guide is totally fine in aggro decks. Lets you play less lands and still be able to search up things while getting a 2-drop beater. But I'll take the Pigment Storm for now. I've played like 4 or 5 before, and it works okay. Well, here's a good opportunity to get Quintorius. Currently no actual synergies with it, but there's plenty in the archetype to get, and this card goes off sometimes. Like, even if you do it once, just getting a 4-2 beater out of this card, as well as, like, you know, random Lord effect. And I think the weirdest part about this card is the fact that it's a 2-4. It feels like it should have been like a 4-2. I think it's better as a 2-4 than a 4-2, but considering, I don't know, the rest of Lorehold is just a very odd archetype design in this format, I feel like. But yes, this being a 2-4 is just very odd. Feels like it could have been a 3-4 and not have been overpowered, in my opinion. I mean, it's a 5-mana legend, too. The effect is good, though, so whatever. I'm not complaining about it. It's a great card. All right, Return Pass Caller, also a great card. I've had commenters mention as well that Lorehold doesn't have to be aggro, which is absolutely true. It also can be mid-range value and be totally fine, too. I've had success with both of them. Yeah, they're both just fine. I think they're both very good, in fact. So getting the Pass Caller here is moving us up on the mana curve, but giving us some real good late game value. Flunk is probably the best card in here, just being premium removal. I like the Pledge Mage a lot. Fractal Summoning's a good lesson. A couple other playable Lorehold cards in here, but yeah, definitely taking the Pass Caller. I love the Pass Caller. All right, pick now. Well, it's a decent opportunity to just take the Campus. Doesn't take up a slot in the deck, and definitely can be a stalemate breaker with the Scry. Intro to Prophecy is in fact a playable lesson, though not terribly exciting. I don't really like Prismari Pledge Mage. outside of Prismari, and even in Prismari, I feel like I cut it fairly often, but it's totally playable. I mean, there's some matchups where you're going to be really happy to have it. When your opponent's rocking 2-drop, 2-power beaters, Prismari's Pledge Mage is going to come down and be great. Kelpie Guide is a great card. Owlin Shield Mage is a great card. Defend the Campus I've played with some degree of success before. Not a terribly exciting card, but playable. There's a First Day of Class in there as well, which is totally fine. Well, can we do the Familiar? It's a late Devouring Tendrils. The only issue is, once again, I can't really switch to Gruul or Selesnya. So unless I'm splashing Devouring Tendrils, which is something I can consider, I could take the Stonebinder's Familiar here. It does kind of want to be in the same deck. Well, it's a Spirit, but I mean, this is the right archetype for it. We're going to be exiling stuff. We want to exile stuff. So maybe I just take it. It's an uncommon. There's stronger cards in here, but I'm willing to go for a Familiar plan and try and cut Lorehold and see if I can make it work. Eager First Year is one of those cards that is deceptively good. It's not exciting to read, and it's not a Spirit. There's a lot of things that are weird about this card. It looks on the surface to be a 2-mana 2/2 that occasionally is a 2-mana 3/2, but that actually turns out to be really good when you're trying to be aggressive. Even when you're not trying to be aggressive, Eager First Year comes up as a pretty good attacker and blocker in most matches. So happy to get it pick 8 here. Also, Bayou Groff in here, deceptively good card that goes late. So we can take the Gambit here. Could also take the Campus Guide. I think Divine Gambit makes the most sense since I already have the Stonebinder's Familiar. And like I said, in general, I don't like cards like this. I don't even like this card that much. But in this format, it makes the most sense. There's a lot of lesson creatures, so, you know, instant and sorcery style creatures. Like against Prismari, I actually think this card is quite good. You can sometimes just kill like a Spectacle Mage and their hand is just full of lessons, so they can't even get value out of it. Stonebound Mentor versus Semester's End. Well, Semester's End is kind of cool because it has synergy with Stonebinder's Familiar. You can exile stuff and make it bigger. Mentor is just a 3-drop beater with some upside too, though. I'll take the rare here. I think there are situations where Semester's End is good. I've seen it be good. It's kind of cool sometimes when your opponent uses a removal spell and then you can just make your whole army bigger. But the Mentor would have been fine too. Here, Beaming Defiance is totally fine. Anti-removal spell that also... I mean, there's also a Cogwork Archivist, or we could be splashing the Invocation, but no, I'm fine with the Defiance. All right, 12th pick, Rescuer, is actually a very nice pickup. Has synergy with Quintorius as well, in double fashion, since it's a Spirit that gets pumped, brings something back, and spits out a 4/2. It's actually it's one of the most premium value cards you can get with Quintorius. Obviously, Return Pass Caller is as well. All right, now I'll take the Mentor, just get a solid 3-drop. You can bring it back with Rescuer. It's a 3-mana 3/3. More exciting than the Relic Sloth. We'll take the Defend the Campus here. If we're removal light in a pinch, this is playable, whereas Ageless Guardian typically not that exciting, even as a Spirit. Last pick, Moldering Caraco. I don't think that's happening. All right. Well, here we have Inkling Summoning versus Rise of Extus. I think I'm going to go with the Rise of Extus. As much as I'd like to get a lesson online right now, Rise of Extus has really proven itself to be an excellent card, despite being 6 mana. We can be more of a mid-range Lorehold. I think I'm okay with that. It's just nice that it deals with anything, really, any creature. And sometimes exiling instants and sorceries from graveyards is a big deal, too. So if we are going to want at least one lesson, since we are now nearing our second learn card, but I think the Rise is good enough to just take there. All right, Reconstruct History, I think, is actually playable, but I'm looking at more like Campus Guide to get a 2-drop that can give us land. Could take the Expel. It does have synergy with Stonebinder's Familiar. I still haven't... I'm kind of moving towards more of a mid-range now, which in that case, I could see it making more sense to take Expel, which is not an exciting pick here. Could take the Enthusiastic Study, and it leaves us more of a beatdown build. Gives us another Learn card. Enthusiastic Study is quite good. Reconstruct History is playable, and it can get you multiple effects back as well. I think I'm going to take the Study just for the Learn effect and hope to still be able to make an aggro deck work. We'll see if that happens. So I can take another Rise of Exodus here. I love Mana Tithe. I really love Mana Tithe. Mana Tithe is one of my pet cards in this format. I've gotten 8-drop spells off of it. It is Mystical Archive. I'm actually tempted to take it, but I could see just taking Rise of Exodus and really just moving towards more of a mid-range value Lorehold deck, which is totally fine. There are some matchups where that's not going to be so good, though. If I take the Mana Tithe, I actually think it gives us a better matchup against Prismari Value, just because they build towards Elemental Mastery and just cast it, and then you can counter it for 1 mana sometimes. It is best of 3, where Mana Tithe is worse. I think the discipline pick is to take the Rise of Exodus and get the removal. Maybe Mana Tithe will wheel. Tome Shredder is probably just good enough where we have to take it here. It works with Familiar, and it works with Quintorius quite well. Converts all your instants and sorceries into 4/2s. Tough to go wrong with that. Unfortunately, it does not synergize with Pillar Drop Rescuer or Pass Caller. But honestly, we could still, like I said, we're in that weird intermediate phase where we could still be beatdown or we could still be mid-range value. I'd prefer to do the beatdown build, just because I think other archetypes usually have better late game value than we do. Here, I think I slam the shock. I love Pilgrim of the Ages. I actually think Pilgrim is looking real good here, too, seeing as it comes back from your graveyard for Quintorius value. And it gets you land to get to your 5 and 6 drops, which this deck could definitely use as well. Now I'm thinking Campus Guide looks a lot better, too, as both a beater that can get us to our late game. But I'm going to take Shock just because I very rarely pass Shock. So now I'll probably take the Historian, which I like more than the General. It does have 1 less toughness, but it exiles, so once again, Familiar synergy as well as Quintorius synergy. Blood Age General also has synergy with Quintorius because it's a spirit, but I think in general, I think the Illustrious Historian is better. Another Rescuer is really nice, actually. I'm going to take that. We are really getting up there on mana curve, but I think it's okay. Otherwise, I could take the Lorehold Pledge Mage, but I've got a good feeling about the Rescuer here. So now we can take Eager First Year. I actually like Academic Dispute in general, but once again, like I'm saying, Eager First Year is going to let us beat down quite a bit better. Pick 9 Mage Hunter's Onslaught is pretty insane-o. Could take Make Your Mark. I think it's better for aggro. Already have Defend the Campus. Don't really need First Day of Class. We already have 3 Learn cards and 0 lessons. So now my only regret, I think it would have worked out better for us to swap the Study Break pick for Elemental Summoning to get 1 lesson, but I'm not too concerned about it. Rise of X is still very playable even when you can't learn, but man, is it much better when you can learn. I guess we'll take Expel. This isn't looking like a great deck for it, but some people swear by Lorehold Excavation. Currently, it does have synergy with Familiar and Quintorius. I guess it's more exciting than a Blood Age General, but General might have been the actual correct pick, just because I feel like, unfortunately, Excavation very, very rarely makes my top 23. Here, I'll just cut the Star Pupil. I guess I'm not going to play Revitalize. Here, I'll take... Actually, we'll take the Effigy. I mean, we already have synergy with it. That makes sense. I do kind of feel like we should be more beatdown, and I think we have the capability to beat down, but then maybe I was supposed to take the Blood Age General over Lorehold Excavation. It can be difficult to navigate the Lorehold draft sometimes. All right, we'll take the Effigy. I think we can probably cut the curve down enough to just make this aggro, but we'll see. I mean, we have a lot of 5 and 6 drops actually. 4 5 drops, 3 6 drops. That's a high curve actually. All right, here might just first pick the Eager First here, but actually I think the wisest pick is the Intro to Annihilation. We got to convert our learn cards into value, so I want to turn it into a removal. Maybe we'll wheel the first year anyway. I think we did out of pack 1. Stonerise Spirit, deceptively good too. This is where it's at its best too, because it exiles cards from graveyards. So then we've got Stonebinder's Familiar as well as, well, I guess Effigy, Synergy, and Quintorius, and it's a Spirit. So yeah, if we wheel one of those, I'm happy. Taking the Spirit, the lesson for now. Well, Academic Probation is a lesson, but not one I'm terribly excited about. Could take another Tome Shredder. They get worse in multiples, but I think there's a decent argument to do it because we can just, I guess, get pretty good value off of Synergize with Familiar and Quintorius once again. I mean, just having, and the Effigies. It's just a synergy builder here. I guess I'm okay with that. Well, I love Manifestation Sage, but unfortunately we're not able to do that. So could do the Sudden Breakthrough or the Study Break again. Or there's Relic Sloth. What's a creature count? Creature count's there. Might do the Breakthrough as a combat trick for our 2 drops that ramps us into our 5 and 6 drops. I might need to do that. I think in general, Study Break's better, but all right, now I probably, man, I still want to take the Pilgrim. There's Explosive Welcome in here too. I think here we probably just need the Pilgrim. We need to be able to get to our 5 and 6 drops. I think the Spirit Summoning, unfortunately, I have to pass, even though I really actually want it here just because we already have a deck, but Pilgrim is a solid upgrade to things we've gotten here, so I think we kind of need it. Probably take another Pilgrim. I want the Stonerise Spirit too, but we need to just get lands and be able to cast our 5 and 6 drops, and Pilgrim just lets us do that, so. Another Effigy. Well, I doubt that's happening, but there's nothing else here, so alright. It is a Spirit. Access Tunnel is kind of cool. How many ways do we have to exile? Let's get rid of the Star Pupil. I usually don't play it. I don't think we've got Divine Gambit. That's 2. This can exile 3, 4, 5, 6. We probably have enough to do it, I suppose. Otherwise, Access Tunnel is a card that rarely is bad for me. I feel like it's won me plenty of games. I guess we'll take Divine Strike. We don't have the space for it really, but all right, got the Stonerise Spirit. That's good. More synergies with basically everything in our deck. So I think our deck has a lot of synergy. I actually think it's fine. I mean, we're doing everything this archetype is supposed to do. I'll just start taking Mystical Archive cards because I'm not going to play Relic Sloth or Cogwork Archivist. So a little bit tricky here because we've got a lot of good things going, but at the same time, we're in that weird, are we a mid-range or are we aggro sort of deal here. Could take Thrilling Discovery. It does have, I mean, it's the only on-color card, so I suppose we might as well, but I don't think it's going to make the deck. We did only end up getting 1 lesson, unfortunately, but that's okay. We might just be using our Rise of Extus to find it. And Rise of Extus at least has synergy with like Stonebinder's Familiar as well. I definitely have to piece together what I'm doing here. Because we have a lot of cuts to make. Alright, Strike can go, Make Your Mark can go, Beaming Defiance can probably go. I think Study Break is actually going to go as well. Excavation, well, let's do the Discovery first. I think as much as I like Enthusiastic Study, I think we're actually cutting it. I think we can cut Defend the Campus. I think Semester's End has to go. Oops. Probably don't need 3 effigies. So now we're down to 4 more cuts, and we have a deck. I feel like Mentor is usually an easy card to cut. It does have synergies in here. Not the least of which the fact that it's a... Oh, well, we're looking to cut creatures anyway, so that probably makes sense. Let's cut the Mentor. I feel like it's the least exciting creature here. It does have synergy with things, but so does Effigy. Maybe we don't need 2 effigies. Although, if you can get them out, I mean, these stack up nicely with, like, exile from graveyard effects. You can turn them into shocks and stuff, but we're a high curve deck already, so I could see maybe cutting 1. Pilgrim, I really think, is going to help excel us into the 5 and 6 drop territory, though, which is nice. I could see maybe cutting the Breakthrough, but, I mean, we have space to cut creatures, right? Yeah, we do. We could cut 3 creatures and call it a deck, so if I were to do that, I probably don't need double Spirit. 1 is probably enough, although it's nice getting a 2-drop 2/2 flyer with Quintorius, but I can probably cut 1 and be okay. Eager First Year on the surface looks like it has less synergy, but it's still good enough. I can see maybe cutting 1 effigy as well, even though it's also good in here. Just because it works well with Shredder, but how good is Tome Shredder in here too? Unfortunately, we have Shock Gambit that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 cards we can exile. It's not terrible. And it does have synergy here, but I think, how many things do we bring back with Rescuer? Plenty. Let's cut 1 effigy. I'm thinking about cutting 1 Shredder just because it doesn't actually have great synergy in multiples. It does have great synergy in the deck, but I think we have enough Quintorius synergy already where we don't need double Shredder, because we already have, although it does also have synergy with the Familiars. How many things do we have synergy with Familiars? Straight up exile. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is actually pretty good. How many Quintorius synergies do we have? We have 1, 2... Wait, that one doesn't do it. It's only when leaves our graveyard. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10's good too. I could see maybe cutting the effigy. I actually like effigy. I think it's deceptively good. And this is where it's at its best. But I also think if I cut effigy, I can focus more on either return, like synergies with Quintorius and Stonebinder's Familiar. I can sort of maximize that a little bit better. Probably makes sense. And people who love Lorehold Excavation will probably be happy that I'm playing it. So, all right. I guess, you know what? I think we're here. What's our removal looking like? Shock, Gambit, Breakthrough, sort of, Expel, Double Rise, Pigment, Storm. Not bad. I mean, the removal's there. The synergies are there. Yeah, I mean, I'm satisfied. All right, well, we've got substantially more white than red, and we do have double white. here and here. We have double red as well. I think we'll probably just do one extra white and call it a deck. And that would give us, because I have almost twice as much white than red. So I think that does actually make sense to do 10-8 rather than 9-9. Although, no, we have the double pilgrim. Okay, that changes things. I have to remember that. I think we can do 9-9 because we have double pilgrim to find. And we just want to see both colors. So double white spells matter less when you have two pilgrims. That's actually true. All right. Well, I mean, it's a good deck. I do think it's a good deck. I wish we'd gotten more lessons, but the lesson we got is certainly a good one to dig up off of Rise of Exodus. Turn Rise of Exodus into 2 removal spells, essentially, which is nice. All right. Well, here it is. Lower hold, sort of mid-range, sort of aggro. Not exactly the place you want to be, I guess. Sort of aggro, sort of mid-range, but we've got good synergies in here. I think this deck could do some work for us, so we'll see what it can do. We'll run it like this. We'll see you round 1. All right, round 1. Yeah, it's a keep. Not the most exciting hand, but certainly fine. All right. Couple removal spells, couple of creatures. Plenty of value. Uh-oh, Prismari's not what we want to see. I guess it makes our Divine Gambit better, but a little bit scary. All right, Trickster on an empty board's not too intimidating. I'd probably just start the beats now. I think that just makes the most sense. Ah, Maelstrom Muse. All right, well, we can start to expel here. Let me think about this. So if I play the Pilgrim, technically next turn I can expel plus Gambit. They're going to be able to cast an Elemental Mastery. But I still think it makes the most sense to just get the Pilgrim online now. I could bluff, but I think we'll just stick to expel Gambit, see how that works out for us. All right. Oh, well, let's go land. So now we have 5. We have the Familiar and we want to exile. So I wonder if it just makes the most sense to go Familiar. Oh, they have something, huh? Well, we're going to go for the expel anyway and see if we get it. Oh, nice. So we buff our Familiar, and now our Shredder actually has good synergy with our Familiar as well. We also have Divine Gambit. It's a lot of Frost Tricksters. All right, they're going straight race mode, which is fine. All right, we have options. So we can do the Gambit. They have 2 cards left. I do feel as though we want to use a removal spell here. But we definitely want to attack first, I think. So another option is to go Shredder first year. Which I think I'm okay with, actually. Well, we'll see. Let's just attack. Well, if I Gambit and they have something big now, I guess we're in trouble. But if I Gambit and they don't have something big... Because I do have lethal in the backswing, technically. First year versus Gambit. It's a tough choice, actually. I'm going to go with the safer first year. Now, they could burn us out here with something. If they have Pigment Storm, I think we lose. But considering we have our own Pigment Storm, it feels okay to me. That doesn't really make sense, though. But we'll take it. Let's see. So we're playing against Prismari, but it's not traditional. It's like just a flying Frost Trickster beatdown Prismari deck. I could see the argument maybe lowering the curve a little bit. Like I can swap a Study Break for like a Rise of Extus. But, I mean, this deck worked. They're going to be on the play now, so they're going to be a little bit faster. Stonerise Spirit does not pair well against their Tricksters or their Muse. But do I need Study Break to maybe buy some time over Rise of Extus? Lowers the curve. I mean, based on what I saw, our late game is going to be better. So that might be a wiser pick. All right, I'll do it. Let's see if it makes a difference. Just because I feel like they're trying to be more aggressive. I mean, we out-aggroed them there, but it looked like they were trying to, you know, out-tempo us. This hand is playable. Well, here's the thing about Brainstorm. It really is only good, in my mind, if you have a lot of shuffle effects, because otherwise you're just sort of drawing 3 and then kind of, well, I was going to say, I mean, I guess you could argue it's kind of like Scry, but it's not really like Scry, because you can't put it on the bottom. So I don't think it's as good. I imagine a Trickster's coming down. They have so many. All right, there's Rise of Extus. Let's So this sudden breakthrough can be converted into a ramp effect, which is nice. For now, I think we'll just do familiar. And I think we'll just pass. I don't want to get trickstered out here either. Sure. Sure. So now we can go Rise of Exodus to deal with the 4/4 here and get rid of, I guess, Resculpt maybe. I don't know if it really matters. And we'll get the Intro to Annihilation. And I guess we can attack. I'm not going to chump here, so. Well, the good thing is I don't have to block, so that's nice. Alright, Rescuer's not bad either, but I suppose we do the Pass Caller, best use of mana, get back the Rise of Exodus. And then we'll pass. Because now I actually do have to chump, possibly. Let's see here. So, no cards left in hand, so I guess we just prevent the most amount of damage. Although, let's see. Could block with the Familiar. And then I get a 4/2. And then I guess I can go Rescuer. I do have a way. Well, this is fine. We'll do that. Pigment Storm's cool too, but I think for now, best use of mana is probably Rescuer. And I think it's actually Eager First Year we want, because that way we can double block a 3/3. Alright, well, that's cool. That's an easy trade. So now we're up to 8 mana. So, let's see. I suppose I can Pigment Storm here. And I guess we get in for 3. Well, I suppose we... It's actually a tough spot. If they draw... Do we attack with both, or do we attack with one, or do we attack with neither? Because we are at Prismari Pledge Mage being lethal, so if they draw removal, well, I think we're going to play it safe. Alright. That's fine. Oh, I shouldn't have played the land. Because now I don't want to rummage. Whoops. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. Do I have to rummage too, or can I not? Oh, I can decline. Alright, well. Not exactly the wisest way to do that, but that's alright. Alright. Well, we'll see you for round 2. Alright, round 2, we'll play first. Oh, that's a keep. Looks pretty good. Snarl with the reveal, no less, huh? That's a good one. So I think we'll just go Pilgrim here. Three color, huh? Oh, geez. They're reaping lots of value right now. I'll tell you that. Well, let's do the Shredder here and get in for 2 damage of our own, I guess. I guess I should have played the planes I dug up, but it's alright. It's not a huge deal. Historian. Oh. I think we'll Gambit first. We'll see what we're up against. Alright. They just got a land. That's cool. So we can play the Historian and get in for 2 here. Rutha. That's a good one. I'm willing to trade, yeah. Alright, so we're up to 6 lands. I suppose we just get the flyer down. They're 1 land from copying basically a make-your-own elemental masterpiece, so alright. So be it. Get our Pilgrim back, and then we'll play a land and pass. It's a good one. Alright, so we'll go Pilgrim, get a Plains, play Plains, play Eager First Year, and pass. Archivist and a Plains, all right. So they're going to be able to copy the Elemental Summoning. But Pilgrim's kind of doing work for us right now, so I'm cool with this. We're close to the kind of optimum play Pilgrim, be able to search it up and bring it back in a turn situation. So we'll go Pilgrim. I don't know if we have Plains left, though. Oh, last one. All right. So we can double block a 4/4 and get Pilgrim back, but we can't search up any more Plains because we have them all in our hands. In our hand here. Well, I guess they are milling themselves quite a bit here, but they get choice of 2 spells here, which is pretty good. Got good card draw effects in there. Ooh. Archmage Emeritus is good too. And they didn't even want Archmage Emeritus. That's intimidating. No more Plains search, unfortunately. So I guess best use of mana would be the Historian Exile. But I have 7 mana, so I guess I can do both. Oh, geez. That's a good one. All right. So I don't think we have a road to recovery here. I guess I can play it out to maybe see more spells. I mean, Rise of Extus will do some work against the 9/9s, so that's at least some way to deal with them. Oh, they have a Quintorius too, huh? How do they get cards back from their graveyard? Oh, that's a good way to do it. Actually, Archivist has synergy with it. That's cool. So they have some goodies in there, definitely. All right, so we won't show them anymore. I mean, I think this is a winnable match, but we just got flooded there. All right, Defend the Campus, technically another thing I can do. It deals with their 4/4s, it deals with the 9/9s. It's not a great way to deal with what they're doing because they have good value spells to dig up those creatures. But I guess that's not necessarily true. It looked like their main way to win is Serpentine Curves. And with Archivist, Elemental Summoning, Serpentine Curve, there's enough things where Defend the Campus might actually just be something we're looking for. And Expel too. Yeah, and Divine Gambit. We surprisingly have a lot of ways to deal with their things. Maybe I cut the Sudden Breakthrough. Yeah, I could see that. This makes us less aggro, which I don't love, but Defend the Campus deals with the threats that are going to beat us. So if we can get enough threats if we can get enough removal spells for the things that beat us, I think we're actually okay. I mean, we got through quite a bit of their deck and did not see a Masterpiece, but saw plenty of things that we can deal with. I'm okay with it like this, I think. Okay. Play first. It's a keep. Not a great hand, but I don't think it's worth mulliganing. I mean, at least if we get flooded, we have Campus to do something for us, so. Well, at least we have one more in here. Oh, I guess I should have played that familiar first, huh? So now I think we'll just start using the lower hold Campus to dig for something here. All right. So we can at least exile that, make our familiar bigger. Bottom the land. And then we'll go land, rise. And I guess we'll get rid of the summoning. Get our Intro to Annihilation. And using our other Rise of Extus to pump our familiar and rummage seems pretty good to me, actually. Oh, that's cool. So we'll do the Rise first. We don't quite have the lands to do everything here. I could do Intro to Annihilation instead, but this deals with more permanents, but then I can't follow up with the Historian. I'd rather make better use of mana here, I think. I feel like they're gonna get to draw the card at some point anyway, so. And putting a Historian out lets us trade with Professor and then get another exile potentially on our turn. We'll see. Maybe I take it. I can rise here and continue to beat down. And we'll rummage away planes, I guess. Oh, that's cool. So Serpentine Curve, but Rise of Exodus has done its job just clearing their graveyard of stuff to fuel Serpentine Curve, so that's kind of nice. All right, well, I guess we can Quintorius here. for the pumps. Swing for lethal. Sure. I think we can still play the land. That way we can maybe still draw and use Lower Hold Campus. Oh, geez. Do we want the familiar back? Well, I don't have my Quintorius anymore, so it's still just a valuable card to have. I think we will actually dig up the plains. Could see sandbagging it, though. Maybe. I'm trying to think, do I have more? I'm not sure I have more learn in here. I can take a look if there's a reason to sandbag it. I'm not seeing a reason to sandbag it, so I think I'll play it. Because we did both our Rise of Extus, so I guess if I were to draw Return Pass Caller, I could get Rise of Extus back and still be able to... Oh, it's an 8/8 already? Man, that was quick. Oh, is it? It's in exile too, isn't it? Oh, okay. That makes sense. That's probably why it's a pretty good card in this format. Well, Pigment Storm doesn't deal with the problem here, so I guess we'll do that, and then we'll stop on Upkeep as well. And do it again, looking for like Divine Gambit. Yeah, Curve is good. Being able to use your instants and sorceries in exile is a pretty big deal. Oh, wow. Cody deck, no less, too. Well, now I don't feel so bad, because Cody decks are pretty cool, so. Alright. Let's see what we got here. I don't think there's anything we could possibly get that gets us out of this sticky situation. Certainly not the Lower Hold Excavation. Alright. We'll play it, and then we'll see you for round 3. Alright, round 3, we'll play first. Yeah, it's a keep. Oh yeah, we have Blade Historian in our deck. I almost forgot. Well, we only have 2 lands currently, but, I mean, we have 2 Pilgrim of the Ages, so even if we draw that, that turns us into 4 lands. If you draw the Pilgrim plus a land. So it puts us in Blade Historian territory. Not bad. Alright, well... I think we're actually going to trade off our Spirit for the Guide here. We have a couple ways to get the Spirit back, so I'm alright with it. Alright, well, I suppose we make use of mana and probably kill the Drake. That way our Shredder can do something as well if we draw the land. Well, if we draw land now, we're at least Pilgrim into Historian range, which is pretty good. Alright, well, we can do the Historian and attack for 4. Oh. I'm okay with that trade. Can't Excavation plus Gambit, but we can Shredder and attack right away, which is pretty good. Well, we have the means to get Historian back, I think, right? Or do we not? Maybe we don't, actually, now that I think about it. All right, that was a good draw. Now we can at least go Shredder plus Excavation. And technically have a removal spell for something big with Divine Gambit. And we're just a mana away from Rise of Extus as well. All right. I think at this point I'm willing to Gambit and see what happens. Uh-oh. Well, that's okay. We can attack. Actually, I guess we stay back and use the sudden breakthrough. Well, if they fight, let's see, 3, 5, but that'll have 6. So it's just not quite there. I wonder if I sudden breakthrough anyway to guarantee Rise of Extus. I may have to. Yeah, all right. I guess I can wait and do it at the end of their turn, because I can do it on any creature. All right. Oh, well, we got the land anyway, but it's okay. So we'll take out the Symmetrist and Outburst, I guess. And we'll get another removal spell here. So we've got 8. So, well, if I use the intro to Annihilation, they can end of turn the Practical Research. I don't really want them to do that. So, yeah, I guess we just Shredder plus use Excavation. That seems fine. What? That doesn't make sense. I'm not sure they fully thought that one through. Got rid of Mentor's Guidance. A lot of card draw they've done. Let's see what they've learned. Fractal summoning. Oh, expanded anatomy. Well, I have the answer for that, so... I mean, I have the answer for the assistant, so this is not that terrible for us. Let's pay our 5, get our beater. Guess we'll get rid of Eager first here, I suppose. Oh, Rescuer is good. Let's see, we've got 7 mana. What can I bring back with Rescuer? I mean, I pretty much have to kill their thing. And I can only get a Stonerise Spirit. Well, Stonerise Spirit's a good one, though. I could see the argument for going Rescuer, Stonerise Spirit here, and then I can intro their assistant. Because it's not lethal anyway. Alright. I'm okay with that. Ooh, Poet's Quill. That's a good one. It's at least cost black to equip. Well, that's good, because they don't have another black mana here. Oh, never mind. Sure. I think we actually take 5. Go to 1. And then we go Campus. Annihilate the 5/4. They get to draw. And we get in for all that. I mean, I guess Pigment Storm gets us. And that's just a common. Maybe I wanted a block. Rise of Exodus doesn't get us. That's nice. Yeah, I probably wanted a block because I have the Lowerhold Excavation. Alright, I think they're still dead. But I probably made it a little bit closer than I had to. Quite the deck from our opponent, though. How many colors are they? Green, blue, red, black. So everything but white dot deck over here. Still playing Rise of Exodus. No, their deck looks pretty good. They got Fixing. They have... What's the Reflective Golem good with? I guess it's good with... No, it doesn't work with Mage Duel. You have to have single target only. Does work well with Anatomy. They have some good value stuff in there. A lot of value spells. Looks good to me. I think our deck did okay against them. I mean, it did everything it needed to. So, I'm satisfied. Let's run her back. Lowerhold Excavation did something that game. That's cool. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll keep. Okay. Good draw. Get to go 2-3. Drop here. This is a spot where Eager First here looks good too, because we can attack into Adept and kind of bluff our way through it. Oh wow, they're gonna do that, huh? All right. Well, it's even better. Now we don't even have to bluff. I think I agree with the block there. They're not in a great situation if they're missing their land drop anyway, so might as well force me to have something. They didn't loot, though, which is odd. If you were missing your land drop, I would have at least looted at the end of my turn. So now we got him in a pretty tricky spot, because we kill that, buff that, deal damage there, get in for 7. And then we have Rise to double pump our Stonebinder's Familiar, which is cool. Ooh, Electrolyze. Good value there. Although I might have just killed the 2 familiars. So I think now we're okay to bring back the Pilgrim. I guess killing the Pilgrim does some short-term damage prevention, but I think the familiars are ultimately better. Poet Squill's a good one. Can't exile that either. Alright. So we'll get Pilgrim back. Go land. Rise. And get rid of, I guess, Electrolyze. Intro, which also deals with Poet's Quill. And we have Shock too, so... Oh wait, I could have killed them there. Whoopsie. Whoops! That's actually probably better for us that they did that on the Shock, because now it's going to make our Intro to Annihilation do more work for us here. But they knew about the Intro to Annihilation, so... Alright, well, ended up going 2-1 with this deck, which is not bad. The match we lost, I think we had the capability to win that one too, so totally fine. I don't think Blade Historian did much this draft. Did he? No, I think we got in one double strike attack with it. And I'm pretty sure we did not win that game. So, all right, let's open some packs here. Do some pack 1, pick 1s. Pack 1, pick 1. I would take the... Well, Curve is a more fun build around, but Invocation... More expensive, but... more consistent whereas Serpentine Curve requires kind of a build around. Invocation is just always playable. It's probably the Invocation. I think that's just fine, though not an exciting first pick. Pick here is Cultivate versus Summoning. I like the Professor of Zoomancy as well. This ramps and fixes. Probably better for the Cody deck. But actually, Summoning is great for the Cody deck too. I guess I'd go Mystical Archive and take the Cultivate. Here, it's Shock versus Eye Twitch. Which is more difficult than you might think. I'd probably still go Shock, and I love Eye Twitch too, but I think I'd still take the Shock. All right, pack one, pick one here. It's Rise of Extus versus Onslaught. Honestly, I think I'd probably go Rise. Onslaught, cheaper cost, and that effect is relevant. But Rise has just been really great this format. And the fact that you get to learn off of removal is just well worth the 6 mana cost. Environmental Science would be a great pickup too. All right. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back for the next one. We'll see you then.